I'm just gonna get right into this because frankly, I'm sick of this debate. And I don't even know why it's a debate because it's pretty obvious who wins. You can thank the YouTuber Dano Draws, the entirety of my chemistry class, my chemistry teacher, and my gym teacher, because without them saying that the gorilla would win, then this video wouldn't exist. You can also thank T. Creed, but he said that people would win. He just said this was a good video idea. Whatever.
House in 3D land.
Obviously, the circumstance is a humongous factor, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. For this fight, we're going to be looking at a prime silverback gorilla. I'm talking full-sized adult male. As for the humans, we're going to be looking at perfectly average 25-year-old adult male Americans who are average height, average weight, and unathletic. So we're going to say 5'9" and weigh around 150 pounds. Also, all of these guys know what they're getting into, and they are 100% on board to fight. So they aren't going to run away scared or anything like that. So with that being said, let's get into the stats. Starting off with the silverback gorilla, let's go over his AP, because they got a couple feats I want to go over. It is estimated that most silverbacks are around 10 times stronger than the average human. They're strong enough to crack glass by headbutting into it. They are strong enough to rip and tear down banana trees. They can even rip the smaller ones out of the ground. They're strong enough to bend iron bars, which is how a couple of them have escaped from cages in real life. And my personal favorite, there's this video of one being able to push an adult woman to the ground with one hand effortlessly. But probably most importantly is the silverback's bite force. A silverback gorilla can bite with the force of 1,300 PST. For reference, most lions can only bite with a force of 1,000 PST. With all these stats in mind, a silverback gorilla should be around street level. As for speed, silverbacks have been recorded on multiple occasions being able to run at 25 miles per hour, which should make them peak human. For reference, Usain Bolt, who clocked in at superhuman speeds, was fast enough to run 27 miles per hour. As for lifting strength, as I stated earlier, they're strong enough to rip apart and uproot banana trees. Here's actually a video on screen of one of them doing that. As for their durability, it should be the same as their AP and striking strength, as obviously gorillas can survive attacks from other gorillas. So, street level. As for intelligence, gorillas are actually decently smart. They're smart enough to use tools such as throwing rocks, and there's even some evidence to suggest that they have used tree trunks as bridges. They've been taught sign language before. They live in decently complex societies that utilize a lot of complex social skills. And probably most interestingly is that they exhibit a lot of humanoid emotions, such as teamwork, forgiveness, and empathy. With all that in mind, their intelligence should be around high animalistic. As for their weaknesses, despite common belief, most gorillas are actually pacifists and prefer to flee and only actually fight when cornered. They are incapable of swimming, which is kind of funny. And similar to humans, their skin is pretty thin and can be broken and bleed very easily, especially whenever stabbed.
Let's see, Red, you got any zingers for the crowd? No? How about you, Nelly?
Yeah, I got one. You're a fat fuck.
Starting off the people, let's go over their striking strength and AP, as both can scale to each other. Most people can pretty effortlessly destroy fruits and also punch and kick through some forms of glass, cardboard, wooden boards, and surprisingly, even drywall. Now, whenever it comes to speed, for travel speed, most people can sprint up to 9 to 13 miles per hour in short bursts. As for combat speed, most people can punch and kick up to 9 to 13 miles per hour. And whenever it comes to reaction speed, it usually takes someone around half a second to react to something like a punch. Whenever it comes to lifting strength, I was actually surprised at how weak most humans are. It really depends on how you lift, so I'll go over 3 categories. Whenever it comes to, say, a deadlift, most people can lift between 100 to 135 pounds. However, whenever it comes to, say, an overhead lift, people can only really lift up to 30 to 75 pounds. And whenever it comes to pulling or carrying something, people can only really lift around 30 to 60 pounds. Now, aside from everything we said for the AP and striking strength section, people are a bit durable, as most people can survive and fight people slightly stronger than them. Now, will they win? Of course not. However, a lot of average humans can survive and put up a decent fight against, say, athlete level people. Whenever it comes to intelligence, people are pretty smart, even the average human, as most people can read, write, follow instructions, and figure out and learn new things over time. The IQ of the average person is around 90 to 110. Now, there's more to intelligence than just that. For example, problem solving. People are kind of mid at problem solving, as most people can handle pretty medial and average tasks. However, whenever it comes to something they haven't encountered before, it can be very difficult and they can get stressed out very easily, leading to them making poor decisions. Whenever it comes to learning and memory, people are actually pretty good, as with a bit of repetition, most people can learn pretty much anything you throw at them. However, whenever it comes to memory, it's pretty hit or miss. It ultimately depends on whether or not someone really cares or is focusing, as if they don't really care or aren't really paying attention, they probably won't remember it. Now, weaknesses is kind of hard because, depending on the person depends on a lot of factors. However, whenever it comes to universal weaknesses, there are only really a few that I can think of. Most people don't really have that good of lifting strength. Their speed is kind of mid. Whenever injured, they take a long time to heal. And falls can be pretty detrimental to most people.
Hey, sweetheart, how'd you like to take a ride on a real bike? She's 16!
Now, personally, I think the winner is the 100 men. Now, I know I was kind of dissing on them all video, saying they got poor lifting strength and stuff. However, to be honest, I feel like I may have lowballed them a bit, and that's not really why they win. It's 2 things that I didn't bring up: stamina and fighting style. Now, whenever it comes to stamina, I couldn't really find how long most normal people can fist fight for. However, I could find that most normal people can usually play sports for around 20 to 30 minutes, so I would assume it's in a similar range to that. Similarly to humans, I couldn't really find much for gorilla stamina outside of the fact that based on their evolution, they should have athlete level stamina, but I couldn't really find any feats or anything like that. Most average, untrained fighters, usually their fighting style is to punch and kick towards the face and legs until their opponent either runs away or they get them on the ground, at which they will try to grab, punch, and kick them, or just end the fight. Meanwhile, despite popular belief, gorillas don't really try to punch or throw. They mainly slap, grapple, and try to bite people, which makes sense considering, like I mentioned earlier, their bites are way stronger than their punches would ever be. Overall, with these 2 factors in mind, I think the gorilla is kind of fucked, as too many people swarming it is going to get it tired out very quickly. And obviously, not every person is going to lose stamina all at the same amount all at once. So it's not like all the humans will be tired out once the gorilla is tired out, especially since the people are definitely smart enough and have the numbers to do a strategy where they could do like send 10 people in while the rest chill and wait until it's their turn, or something like that. That would certainly screw up the gorilla, and I could only really see it getting through, say, 40 to 60 people before it gets tired out, at which the people could easily just stomp on it till it dies, especially considering the fact that gorilla's skin, similar to our own, is tight and can easily be bruised and teared through. Not to mention that the gorilla's fighting style is only primarily really for 1v1s, as gorillas really just try to grapple and bite. That would not be very helpful at all whenever it's getting swarmed by like 3-4 people. And I know some people might argue, oh, it's got the strength advantage by a lot. What's the point? Like I said, it doesn't punch, it only really slaps, and even then, it barely does that. All it does is grapple and bite. What's the point in having the strength if he's not gonna use it? Ultimately, I give the win to the humans. They're smarter, they have better fighting strategy and style, and ultimately, they know how to utilize their strengths better, even though the gorilla has them beat in most categories. Anyways, that's it. I just want to make this video to, give my thoughts on the whole question and stuff. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.